My fiancé's toxic brother lied out of jealousy and got our wedding canceled, until the truth came out publicly and his world started crumbling fast. Please excuse my grammar and formatting. Tomorrow is supposed to be our wedding day. We've been engaged for roughly 1 year. Earlier today, my fiancé's brother Nigel went to the emergency room, and I tagged along with my fiancé Robert because we were together when Nigel called. It was last-minute stuff. I stood in the corner while they spoke about what was going on. In short, Nigel went to the ER because his heart was pounding, he felt nauseated, he was struggling to breathe, and he felt like he was dying. He was constantly trembling. The doctor apparently told him it was a panic attack. However, Nigel doesn't believe this and demanded an MRI and a sleep study, as he's struggling to get good sleep. Furthermore, Nigel said he can't make it to the wedding and be Robert's best man. He's too scared that he's dying and insists there's something wrong with him. It can't be a panic attack, he said. I know this means a lot to you guys, but it's okay for me to not be there. Your wedding is more important than my health. I just wish I could be there for Robert. We've been through so much together. It sucks that tomorrow is the wedding. I wish I could go. I'm not saying that my health is much more important than the wedding. I meant, I wish I could be there for Robert. I just smiled and didn't say a single word. After a while, I walked out to use the bathroom and simply waited outside since Robert was wrapping up and Nigel was planning to get admitted. Here's the kicker. Robert wanted to postpone our wedding the day before the wedding. He said Nigel begged to be there and that they've been through a lot together. Robert lived alone when he was in his junior to senior year in high school, while Nigel was off to college. His parents divorced, and his dad manipulated him away from his mom. He said that our wedding should be one of the most special moments, but right now, he's worried for Nigel and stressed. I calmly, as best as I could, explained that tomorrow is our wedding. The after-wedding venue and wedding venue are booked. Our flight for the honeymoon is the day after the wedding, catering and photographers are ready, and so on. He refuted and begged me to understand. I then got dropped off where I was staying for the night, a hotel suite where my close friends and I were chilling before the wedding. I didn't say a word to him. My issue is that this isn't the first time this has happened. Nigel has had constant bouts of anxiety and panic attacks. He suffers from depression too. However, every time, he always thinks there's something physically wrong. Depression? He must need an MRI because there has to be a tumor in his brain. Panic attack? Definitely a heart attack, even if the doctors and neurologists say otherwise. Nigel always says that he's working on it, but he only tries to find a physical tie to his mental illness. Here are a few instances of plans getting canceled due to his brother, and arguments we went through. On Halloween Day, I planned and asked 2 months in advance for it to be a special day. Nigel had constant anxiety attacks, so Robert forgot about our plans and was at Nigel's beck and call. Earlier in our relationship, I asked Robert to tell me when he's coming home or if he's going to be late, just to let me know because I get worried and anxious due to PTSD. I had a panic attack because he didn't tell me until 3 hours later. A simple text saying, "I'm going to be late," was all I needed. He left me to have a panic attack to comfort Nigel. I have emotional support cats, and Robert asked if he could take my emotional support cats to Nigel's apartment, we live in the same apartment complex, to help him with his anxiety. I refused and said they were my emotional support. He said they were also his cats. I refuted that we got them for me in the first place. I also brought up that some of my pills, Advil for pain and melatonin for insomnia, were being taken away for Nigel. I need those. He refuted that since we were in a relationship, things should be ours, and he should have a say if the cats should go to Nigel or not. I made it clear that a lot of my things were taken away to help younger cousins and a cousin with autism when I was younger. I don't want Nigel thinking that he can take whatever he needs, with the whole scenario repeating in my adult life. This whole situation was triggering, and I could barely speak since I was bawling. He kept asking me to explain when I said I'm currently uncomfortable explaining. He kept pushing and got petty. Either way, I suggested a compromise, occasional days for 10 to 20-minute cat visits. He refused it and brought up how this would work if we have children. On our anniversary celebration, Nigel tried and pushed to make plans despite being informed earlier that we were going away. He kept saying he already got tickets or flights or other things. It's not the only time that dates have either been canceled or postponed because Nigel convinced Robert that roads were dangerous, then proceeded to take him out shopping, driving around, and so on the same day. Anyway, Robert apologized and started setting boundaries. No last-minute planning with Nigel. Nigel needs to rely on a therapist for his anxiety and shouldn't expect Robert to be at his beck and call still. Nigel calls Robert 10 times a day. One time, he called while we were in the middle of sex. Robert doesn't pick up, obviously. Nigel gets angry that Robert doesn't answer the phone and started aggressively knocking on our door. He then lectured us about staying up all night because, on rare occasions, we sleep in on days off. We finished a gaming night and ignored his calls because we just wanted to relax. Right now, my extended family and immediate family came from Florida, Canada, the Philippines, California, Philadelphia, and New York. They're not staying long because it's expensive and are going back the day after the wedding. The wedding venue and reception were paid for by a very, very rich close friend. They also paid for food, the 5-star hotel everyone is staying at, and photographers. If we postpone, it's all going to be canceled, and no money will be returned because tomorrow is the wedding. The honeymoon, which was gifted to us by another close friend of mine, is about to get canceled too. I don't know what to do. Outside of the issue with Nigel, everything is healthy. Robert tries his best to be creative with date activities when it's his turn. He takes care of me when I'm at my lowest and helps me up again. My close friends agree that he's an amazing guy, but everything becomes an issue when Nigel is involved. Tonight, I'm just crying my eyes out, and my friends are trying to cheer me up. Even my guy friends, whom I'm very close with, they're the flower boys, are staying with us just to find ways to make sure I don't cry myself to exhaustion. I'm very, very thankful for my friends. I just don't know how to even discuss this. Should I confront Nigel, talk to Robert again, or talk to his parents? I need more information. I only have 2 boundaries. Keep plans we've made unless there's an absolute emergency, and tell me what time you'll be home. It doesn't matter if Robert wants to stay out longer, just tell me in advance. While I do agree it is difficult to juggle on his part, I've been trying to reach a compromise, having Nigel virtually attend, having another smaller wedding when we get back from the honeymoon, and so on. Robert refuses and only keeps rejecting my proposals for a compromise, but he doesn't bring up a compromise, only begging to postpone. The wedding is postponed for now. My friends are going door to door to explain there was an emergency, and the wedding is postponed. Originally, we were going to cancel the vendors, but we decided that partying would be better and followed the advice of other Redditors to have a party instead. Also, the friend who paid said she didn't care about the money. You'd be surprised how much my rich friend spent without batting an eye, but it feels really disrespectful for us to postpone. As for the honeymoon, my friend group, 8 including me, is scrambling to get last-minute plane tickets, and we're renting out an Airbnb villa for 2 weeks. This led to other issues, which I'm trying to resolve. Robert doesn't want me going on this impromptu vacation. After he dropped me off, he went alone and reflected about the whole situation. He said he thought it through, and only said what he said due to his brother's pressure. Apparently, his brother said more than just, "Can you postpone the wedding? I really want to be there." According to my fiancé, his brother talked about how much he was struggling, how lonely he felt, how alone he was, and how he missed the old days. It didn't make sense for things to change since they were family. In addition, while Robert wanted time for himself, his brother kept spam calling and texting him. Here are some snippets of what those texts were. I'm feeling worse and worse. The doctors are making me wait before getting an MRI. I need you, please. Fiancé's nickname. We used to be close. You'd always answer my calls. If my name isn't wanting you to talk to me, that's wrong. Answer your phone. You never answer your phone. There were a total of 37 missed calls. My fiancé said he didn't want to postpone the wedding and was really looking forward to it. Weeks before the wedding, his friends kept talking about how my fiancé wouldn't stop bragging or mentioning the wedding preparations, so I did believe him. According to my fiancé, he wanted time to think for himself without anyone breathing down his neck and backseat gaming his life. He apologized for not communicating that and explained he was tuned out and overwhelmed. I discussed what happened in the past, the situation with the cats and medication, the canceled plans, constant calls that disrupted even my sleep, the door banging, and things becoming about his brother whenever I wanted to do something for myself. He apologized and spoke his side, saying that he has been working on being better by not canceling plans, no longer pestering me about taking my emotional support cats, and no last-minute planning. I do agree he was doing better. He didn't cancel plans and didn't make unreasonable last-minute plans for a year. However, the calls and knocking were constant to the point of disrupting my sleep and scaring me whenever the door got banged. My fiancé said that he had tried to make boundaries so many times. Boundary 1, no more spam calling. Call me once or twice, then leave a message. If I don't call you back for a few days, that means I'm busy and have other things to do, but I'll get back to you at some point. If you want to make plans like skiing, just leave me a Discord message, and I'll usually respond. Here's the reason for the constant calls and texts that I've never mentioned. His brother constantly asks for help, like changing tires, putting up lights, cooking something, and so on. His brother also calls about groceries, there's a salmon sale, spam calls, and gets angry when there's no response, saying this is urgent. His brother wanted to talk about his workday, spam call. His brother wanted to give fruits, constant knocking and spam call. The reason for not respecting boundary 1, according to my fiancé, is that his brother said it doesn't make sense to not spam call if my fiancé doesn't answer. His rebuttal was, what if it was important? Apparently, a grocery sale counts as important. What if I need help? Furthermore, according to my fiancé, this boundary was attempted to be established multiple times. However, his brother dismissed it. His brother grew up in the Soviet Union and moved when he was 7. Their dad has really outdated beliefs, not pushed onto me at least. His brother constantly mentioned that back in the day they could just knock and call whenever. He said it doesn't make sense for this to change and asked for examples as to why this has to change. Furthermore, his brother has said, if my name is telling you to do this, that's just wrong. I have mixed feelings that I will explain later. Boundary 2, no last-minute planning. My fiancé said that he won't do this anymore because we have plans throughout the days, and when we don't, he just wants to relax and play video games. He also has work, and currently, we are managing finances to buy a duplex. We are doing research for that. The reason for not respecting boundary 2 is that my fiancé doesn't answer every call. And apparently those calls were for planning, with the same excuse, what if I need help? Boundary 3, stop knocking on the door in general. If my fiancé doesn't answer the phone, that means he's busy, doesn't want to talk to anyone, or is taking a nap. This disrupts whatever I'm doing, remote work, relaxing, sleep, or other activities. The reason for not respecting boundary 3 refers to the reason for not respecting boundary 1. A critical point to understand is that my fiancé struggled to articulate, in a gentle manner, the necessity for change, as he is focused on forging a shared future with me while also maintaining his own personal life. His brother repeatedly claimed to comprehend this, but we strongly suspect he doesn't truly grasp it. Nigel, his brother, is caught in a cycle of fleeting romantic relationships, never committing deeply to anyone. He has never cohabited with a partner or endeavored to build a life together with someone special. Instead, his routine revolves around work, retreating to his home, immersing himself in solitary hobbies, and voicing frustrations that those around him are evolving while he remains stagnant. I empathize with his loneliness, having experienced similar feelings myself, and I recognize the weight of isolation. Yet, it's disheartening to see that he makes no effort to address or improve this part of his life. In an attempt to offer a solution, I suggested he consider adopting a pet, sharing how wonderful they can be as loyal companions to brighten one's days. Regrettably, he dismissed the idea outright, unwilling to explore even this small step toward change. This resistance underscores the challenge we face, as Nigel seems anchored to his ways, unable or unwilling to adapt, despite the impact on those closest to him. Nonetheless, I made it clear that I don't want any of these behaviors anymore. My fiancé said that he'll discuss this one last time. He answered the phone. His brother was still spam calling, right in front of me on speaker. My fiancé repeated these boundaries, and lo and behold, the same responses were spoken. What if I need help? What if this and that? My fiancé said, that's it. Don't come to my wedding, even if you want to, and blocked his brother. My fiancé began to apologize again and again, promising that he will show up and that he will go no contact with his brother if needed. I don't want him to go no contact at all. That's family. I get it. Family is important too. All I want is for his brother to stop with this nonsense. Despite our exhaustion and sleepless night, we pressed forward with the wedding, determined to celebrate our love. Nigel, my fiancé's brother, made an attempt to attend, but my fiancé firmly reiterated the importance of the boundaries we had set. Nigel, unwilling to respect these limits, ultimately did not join us at the ceremony, leaving the day free of his disruptive presence. I found myself wondering how my fiancé's parents would respond to this tense situation. Let me share my admiration for my mother-in-law. She's truly a remarkable woman. Having navigated a painful divorce and the heartbreak of her son distancing himself due to his father's manipulative tactics, she has rebuilt her life with grace and strength. She's thriving, aging with elegance, and has transformed her duplex into a beautiful home, free of mortgage burdens. Her career is fulfilling, offering her respect and flexibility to take spontaneous vacations. Unrushed and savoring her independence, she lives life on her terms. When she learned of Nigel's exclusion, her response was supportive yet pragmatic. I'll have a word with him later, but I completely understand why you don't want him there. It's your special day, and I'm sorry for his behavior. In contrast, my father-in-law took a different stance, urging us to reconsider and allow Nigel to attend, emphasizing family ties. My mother-in-law, unimpressed, simply rolled her eyes and strolled off with her date, dismissing his plea. While I'm not particularly close with my father-in-law, we share a mutual respect. He wisely keeps me out of their family disputes and dotes on our cats, as if they were his grandchildren, so his conversation was directed solely at my fiancé, leaving me out of the fray. This contrast in their reactions highlighted the complex dynamics we navigate, but it also underscored the support we received on our unforgettable day. Reflecting on why I didn't recognize this issue sooner or advocate more strongly before our engagement, I must admit, with raw honesty, that I've never fully grasped the concept of healthy boundaries. My childhood was shaped by complex dynamics that left me unprepared to navigate such matters. My biological father left when I was young, and I harbor no resentment toward him. He believed and later explained that his departure was for my benefit, as he was entangled in a destructive cycle of drug addiction and severe alcoholism. He sought help through multiple stints in rehab, showing brief glimpses of recovery, but these moments were fleeting, and he never sustained his progress. Even in his darkest times, he was never cruel to me when under the influence. Instead, he deliberately kept his distance to shield me from his struggles. Through his actions, he instilled in me a deep sense of compassion and a resolve never to judge those society deems outcasts. He poured his heart into being the best father he could, yet he was painfully aware that his best fell short of what I deserved. A talented man, he earned a scholarship to the United States, excelled in basketball and ping pong, and even qualified for the Olympics. Yet, despite these achievements, he found them hollow, weighed down by a profound loneliness that success couldn't fill. Living in a third-world country, he never accessed the treatment he desperately needed to overcome his demons. His story, marked by both brilliance and tragedy, shaped my understanding of love, struggle, and the importance of empathy, but it left me without a clear model for setting boundaries in my own relationships. My mother, at her core, had a good heart, but she pinned her unfulfilled dreams on me, expecting me to live out the life she envisioned. When I fell short of her lofty standards, her disappointment turned to rage. She struck me, humiliated me in public by pulling my hair, and even threatened to strip me bare and abandon me on the streets. She dragged me to her workplace, and when I fidgeted, unable to sit still due to undiagnosed ADHD, she slapped me so hard my nose bled. Her words cut deeper than her hands. "I wish I had your brother instead. I should hand you over to your worthless father. Or why can't you ever make me happy?" When other children taunted me, claiming, "Your mom doesn't love you," she never refuted them, leaving me to bear the sting of their words. Our relationship was far from nurturing. It was a toxic cycle that warped my sense of self. I grew up believing that if I could just be good, her anger would vanish. Always preoccupied, she never imparted essential life skills, expecting me to figure things out alone, in a world I barely understood. Yet, as time passed, I found a path to forgiveness. When I turned 20, she offered a heartfelt apology and began to respect my autonomy. I learned she endured a similar upbringing, as did my grandmother, trapped in a generational pattern of pain. While I don't justify her actions, I acknowledge her efforts to change. She's grown, and though the scars remain, I've chosen to move forward with compassion, understanding the weight of her own struggles. My brother left as soon as he could to not deal with my mother. He has his own life and is in a better relationship with Mom now. He apologized for just leaving me to deal with this. Once again, I don't hold it against him. It was good he left for his own sake. I have borderline personality disorder, which thankfully I'm managing healthfully and have learned to self-soothe, along with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. All of these are being managed through medication, therapy, and dialectical behavior therapy. Whenever I feel like there's a relapse, when situations with my now husband happened, I always thought that I shouldn't be burdensome. I always think, don't be selfish. It's family. You shouldn't inconvenience others because you feel like this. You're being unreasonable. It's your BPD acting up. I never understood boundaries until recently. I could barely speak my mind, but my husband has helped me speak up and communicate my thoughts. On the comment, "If my name is telling you to do this, that's just wrong. I feel guilty." I feel like I'm taking away my husband from his brother. I've been feeling like nothing should change because my husband is with me. I feel like I'm causing a rift. I'm the one who told my husband to set boundaries. He explained that he wants these boundaries too, but he said he has trouble enforcing them because he feels like he's betraying his brother. It's his brother after all. I don't know, and I still struggle to understand what healthy boundaries are. So, if you guys have any advice or resources, please do send them. In my heart, I deeply wish to avoid a complete break in their relationship. Severing ties with someone you cherish is a painful and ugly ordeal. Nigel, my husband's brother, has pressed for more specific reasons why these boundaries are necessary, but we find ourselves at a loss for examples. Beyond the simple truth, my husband has his own responsibilities and aspirations to tend to. How can my husband convey this gently? He might say, "I need things to shift because I'm building a shared future with my name, while also nurturing my own path." You may not fully grasp this, having never committed to a life partner. This conversation is delicate, as Nigel's perspective seems rooted in his solitary lifestyle, untouched by the demands of a serious relationship. In a lighter moment, we chuckled about the idea of Nigel living with us, imagining us bombarding him with endless calls about trivial matters, just to give him a taste of his own disruptive habits. It was a humorous way to vent our frustration, but it underscored the challenge of making him see the impact of his actions. We hope to find a way to communicate this clearly, fostering understanding without fracturing their bond, as family ties, though strained, remain precious to us.